Hi, my name is Aaron Schneider and I'm a solutions architect with cnvrg. cnvrg is an end-to-end platform for machine learning that is designed to help teams accelerate from research to production while simplifying and managing the entire process of data science machine learning. It can be run on any compute and leveraging any of your resources. So for example, here what I've done is I've connected all of my different available compute resources into my one environment. So I have my GPU on-premise workstation. I've also configured it to connect with my Amazon account so that I also have access to cloud resources as well. And then any of my resources that I've connected up, I can go ahead and use in any of the jobs that I might want to run in cnvrg. So let's see it in action. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into MNIST, which is one of our projects, so that I can actually demonstrate how you can use cnvrg in your actual workflow. Here I get a little bit of a feed of what's actually going on with my project so I can keep track of everything. But the first thing I might want to do is create a new workspace. So I can actually create a new IDE running on remote compute with one click. In this case, I'm going to use Jupyter Lab. First thing I need to do is select a compute. I'm going to connect the dataset that I want to use, so in this case MNIST, and then I choose a container. So cnvrg is a container-based platform, and you can use any container to run any of your jobs. We also have really tight integration with NVIDIA's NGC container platform, which allows you to use all of their hyper-optimized GPU machine learning images with one click. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to use their latest TensorFlow 2 image, and when I click Start Workspace, cnvrg is going to connect to that resource, check it's available, and start building the environment at the Jupyter Lab. So in just a couple minutes, you're going to have that working environment, that workspace ready to go and start researching. This takes the process that can take hours just down to minutes. So the next thing that I want to show you is our flows tool. Our flows tool allows you to basically create your own end-to-end pipeline right within cnvrg. Sometimes running a single script really isn't the best way to do it. It doesn't answer the question that you're trying to solve. So here you can actually create your own connected graph to run your entire pipeline. First up, I'm going to choose a dataset. So in this case, I'm using that same MNIST dataset. Then I'm going to run it into a custom Python pre-processing script. And this is going to run on Spark using my cluster. Then I'm going to take the output of that pre-processed dataset and I'm going to run it through 3 different model training algorithms. The first of which is the custom script that I've written in Python. And I'm also going to do a grid search here. So this is actually going to spin up 2 experiments with different parameters for epochs. For ResNet 50, I'm going to use a built-in AI library that you can go ahead and use on day one cnvrg as well. And for this, seeing as it's a very GPU-heavy algorithm, I'm actually going to want to run it on 2 GPUs. So that's what I've chosen here. And finally, I'm going to do XGBoost. And for this, I want to run it on my on-premise GPU workstation. But what happens if that's not available? Like some other job is running on it, or it's being used for some other sort of processing. Well, in that case, I want to burst to the cloud. So what cnvrg will do now is going to first try and run it on the GPU, but if it's in use at the moment, I'm going to actually burst to the cloud and run it on an Amazon machine. And that way I can make sure that all of these run effectively. Now, what's great is that these aren't just going to run, they're also going to be fully tracked. So let me jump into my experiments here. And as you can see, I'm going to have a dashboard for all of the different experiments that I've run within my project. And then I can go ahead and get a really quick look into each and every single one of them to try and understand why it ran the way it did and produce the model that was produced. So in this case, let's jump into an experiment that I ran earlier. And you can see that everything is tracked. So from the utilization of the resources, through these different graphs that track the model that's being produced, different parameters as well. You get access to the logs from the experiment, and any files like a new model that's produced is saved and associated with this specific experiment. So that's all managed and versioned for you. And then what I can actually do is I can go back to my list of experiments and I can actually choose a few. So let's take, here we go. And just with one click, if I click compare, it's going to actually compare them all against each other and let you get really granular insights into each experiment and why it ran the way that it did. And all of the information is set here beautifully for you to just have a quick look at and make a business decision of which model you want to push forward into the process. So if we jump back to my flow here for a second, That's exactly what's going to happen in this stage. And then it's going to take the best model and it's going to automatically compare them using those same tools I showed you for against maybe accuracy or loss, whatever that you desire. And it's going to deploy the champion model straight into production. So production is another key feature of Converge. And we give you all the tools to make production as easy as possible and get from a model to a service as seamlessly as possible. With one click, you can take a model, put it into production, and Converge will turn it into a REST API and deploy it as a service to the web with an authentication token and totally secured for you to start using as a capable service. On top of that, it's also going to give you a whole suite of monitoring tools so you can actually get sort of an X-ray vision into what's going on within your model. So first up, here we have a chart of the different traffic that my models experience. And of course, we can get the logs, the input and the output. We can get a feed of the activity behind the service, the DevOps. And also we can update the configuration. So I can put a new model into production, and I can also do A/B testing and canary deployment. And I can also set a trigger, an alert on my service as well. And this will monitor the actual functioning of my model while it's in production. So in this case, I'm worried about the confidence of my model. So if that dips down less than 0.5, I actually want to run a flow. And I'm going to run that same flow that I showed you before. And what that will do, just as I demonstrated, it's going to take my data set, it's going to take the updated data set, pre-process it, running through my 3 different training algorithms, and deploy the champion model right into production with 0 downtime. And that way you can continually automate and build your own CI/CD pipeline for machine learning. Converge is really designed to help you with every part of that machine learning process and be the tool that can help you leverage all of your resources effectively and accelerate from research into production.